Hello and welcome back to another Reddit React video or Reddit VOD review, rather, whatever you so choose to call it. So, I'm trying something new here. I'm gonna review, or at least maybe not necessarily review the entire game even, just help out somebody here who is like kind of new to the game. Seems like they are trying to find a main. Having a bad time lately, a massive loss streak, don't know what they're doing because they were in iron and they climbed all the way to silver 4, which is actually pretty good, dude. I gotta hand it to you. Congratulations, you've improved. That's great. Don't feel bad about that. I think like struggling in silver after you've climbed from iron is totally normal. So, you know, show yourself some mercy. Don't don't beat yourself up too much, man. You actually did a lot of work. Um, I would say you're trying to find a main. You don't know. You like Zac, Vi, Wukong, Ivern. You don't know what you're good at. That is fair because if you're new, it is hard to know what you're good at. So you have to try a lot of different things. You might not even be super good, like interested in jungle even. You might want to try top lane, mid lane, some other roles, maybe support or something, ADC, whatever. You know, um, just try different things. When you're new to the game, I wouldn't worry too much about improving a whole ton. Just try to find what you find really, really fun, like something that you know, like you're just confident, this is it, this is what I want to do. And that just requires a lot of branching out, trying new things. And it's like, I like the fact that you're playing a bunch of different champions at first. Like maybe don't play a bunch of different champions in ranked because that's not really the best way to climb. But again, if you're new to the game, like you're level what 47, like you're fairly new. So I wouldn't worry too much about climbing per se, as more just worry about learning the game and getting a feel for it and just, finding what you want to really focus in on. Uh, there are multiple ways to climb. You can hit masters literally with anything. You just got to find what your niche is, what you like to do, what aspects of the game you really enjoy. And if you want to do jungle, I can give you a little quick review, give you a few tips and things to work on. But I'm not going to go too hard on you because, like again, I'm going to try something new here. I'm not going to point out every single flaw you're doing because I tend to do that in a lot of my VOD reviews just to give the maximum amount of work that somebody can work on. Because it's in a VOD review, so they can always come back to it and just try to pick something else to focus on. But as far as I'm concerned, you should just play the game and play different champions. Play like 20 games of Ivern, play 20 games of Vi, play 20 games of Wukong, play 20 games of Zac, and like whichever ones feel more fun to you, like figure that out, Be like, okay, well maybe Ivern's playstyle is really unique and awesome, and you kind of love how like quirky and weird like it is to play Ivern because there's not really another experience like that in the jungle. And maybe you really like that. Maybe you play Vi and you find it really boring because she's just kind of point and click R at the late game team fights and doesn't really do a whole lot outside of that anymore. And you get kind of bored of that champion, Um, you just got to figure it out, feel it out. Play some Lilia, sure. Play 20 more games of Lilia. See if you actually like the whole like farming a lot early game. You don't really have a lot to. You can't really do a whole lot for your teammates until you get like an item and get your ultimate. Maybe this is like your play style as well. Maybe you want to do that. Maybe you play Zac where you do a full clear. You hit level 4. Once you have the second point in your E, your ganks are a lot better. And then you can start like kind of ganking a lot more and being a little more proactive on the map. Um, Try to figure it out. I think you just need to play more games and not worry too much about winning and losing. Just more so just focusing on yourself and trying to figure out what you really like about League of Legends and why you play it. That being said, let's go ahead and I'm not going to give you an Ivern review just because, dude, to be honest, Ivern is really weird. Like I said, pretty original. There's not really a lot of champions that play like Ivern. I don't think there's any, I would say. Like maybe Nunu's kind of another weird one. I wouldn't say they even play the same at all, but um, they are like in the same vein. They're both kind of unique, like kind of like Shaco. Like there's not really another experience like uh, from another champion's perspective to play Shaco. Like he's just such a weird champion. But yeah, so I'll just give you my insight on maybe Zac because he's definitely more traditional. Like you're gonna full clear, you're gonna gank, you're gonna be a frontline tank. Uh, so we'll go over this game really quick. I'll just give you a few tips in the early game just to see what you're doing. I have a feeling I know what's wrong and what you're doing, just looking at your OP.gg. So you do have a lot, like you have really low CS scores, and that's usually the biggest part of where like low elo junglers have issues is you're just trying to force too much stuff. You don't, you probably don't really know where to be on the map or what fights you should be taking and whatnot. And there's going to be a lot of chaos happening in League of Legends, especially in lower elos. So you're likely what's happening is that you just don't know what you're supposed to say yes to and what you're supposed to say no to. So there's going to be a lot of fights and stuff, and you're probably just like confused on like, should I have been to this fight or should I be to this fight? Or maybe I should be pulling off this camp because I need to go help my top laner, go help this. Uh, yeah, I think that's probably your main mistake, but we'll see. I'll turn off the fog for. I'm not going to comment on the clear too much either. I'm going to assume you're probably not clearing as fast as you can be. You should be able to finish your full clear before the crab spawns. And even if you don't necessarily finish right before it spawns, even if you're done by like 2:55 in game, that's pretty good. So I'm going to be looking at if you finish your clear by then. So far, your clear's not looking too bad. Okay, you need to pull this a little bit more probably. Yeah, you're a little slow. So when your wolf camp is like pretty much done, when it's down to like what, like 300, you could probably like start pulling it a little bit more and getting ready to like use your E because you don't need that last auto attack, right? Like your jungle pet should be able to finish it off. And I think you can kind of double camp Gromp and Blue. See if you do it. You'll have to look up a clear video for Zach and try to mimic it as much as you can. Go to practice tool. Yeah, so like you should be able to pull the Gromp over near the blue and then use your Q to like kind of aggro the blue buff and then pull them together. And then you can use your W to kind of like hit both of them at the same time, and it'll also make your pet hit both of them at the same time as well. So yeah, you're very slow. You're at 258 and you haven't even fished your blue yet. It's because you're just being a little inefficient with maximizing the amount of utility you can get out of the jungle pets like DPS and just kiting your camps a little bit better. Yeah, you're really slow to finish your camps. Evelynn's here. Your bot lane is Caitlyn Morgana, which is really cool, but unfortunately, we can't really do much here. I wouldn't really want to gank this with Evelynn being here, I guess, but I mean, Ezreal is really low, so I don't hate this. Yeah, I don't hate that attempt. It's not terrible. Yeah, it's just recall. It's fine. No, we just need to recall, I think. Oh, buddy. Okay. Yeah, so you would just waste a lot of time here. There's if Zed is here and Evelynn's here, like you're not going to be able to save this. I would just recall. I would just completed my recall because now we're so behind. Like our Gromp is our Krug's already spawning, and we had to burn our flash, and Caitlyn died anyway. So let's just like just recall. We need to get to our camps as soon as possible. Again, this is just goes back to what I was saying. Um, your CS is really low, so you need to just focus on your farm a lot more. When I say CS, it means creep score. By the way, I know you're new to the game, so maybe you don't know that. They used to call the minions in lane creeps. So people use CS as a term of like your creep score or how many minions you have killed. Um, in this case, it applies to your camps. So let's clear camps. After your Raptors, you can maybe look to gank, but just full clear, honestly. Top lane, we're gonna ignore, it's fine. Jax is really hard to gank anyway, and plus you have Nasus. I mean, maybe level 6 or something. Ah, probably not even worth, honestly. Never mind. I'm just overloading it too much. Just full clear. Okay. This Zed is kind of kicking ass right now. Okay. Again, just you can't do anything in this bot lane. Caitlyn is dead. They're just gonna do dragon. You do not want to face check this. I mean, it's a 3v4 even if your Akshan comes. So let's just ignore this. I mean, Zed's level 6, like he's so strong right now. I wouldn't even bother this. Let's just recall. You know Evelyn's going to take the dragon, so we just need to recall, go back to our red buff. Maybe you can even invade and get her blue buff potentially. But the main thing is like, there's no reason to stick around here because you're fighting over nothing. Wow. It works out anyway. That's so crazy. So this shouldn't happen. I mean, you just kind of just got lucky here. Like you have to recognize, like, sure, it worked out, but like this is kind of just lucky. You're playing a numbers disadvantage. Evelynn didn't have smite and started the dragon anyway because she figured like you guys wouldn't have showed up. Um, it works out, but I wouldn't bank on that. You know, you just kind of got lucky. Evelynn didn't have smite. Yeah, let's clear camps. Clear camps. Oh, yeah, there's nothing to do top. Just clear. Hit the Raptors. Evelynn is going to be top. So this is a good opportunity. Think about this. If we do an entire full clear of our jungler, or of our jungle, meanwhile, Evelynn's top, she will then be on the grubs most likely. She's probably going to do the grubs right after this. It's so juicy, right? She just killed the top laner, dragon's down. She's going to be like, okay, well, there's an objective I can get here. Let her get this objective. Let's do a full clear in the bot lane, and then we can gank bot lane while Evelynn's busy doing this and getting tempo back on her camps. We'll have a free gank in bot lane. Yep, do our clear. Very good, very good. Yep, she did the Void Grubs. Oh man, she ganked mid right after Voids. Yeah, he's just gonna have to. Oh, that flash was crazy. I would say even here, maybe we can even pull off the blue buff to go bot lane. Now that we know Evelynn has no flash, she ulted, she's not gonna be very useful. So we want to maybe make a counterplay in the bot lane here. Because we wanted to be ready for this wave. Once this wave crashes, you have your ultimate already. Like, you don't need to do the blue buff here. So as soon as this wave is complete, like Caitlyn and Morgana kill this wave's gonna shove into tower. And then if you were just here already, you can come over here and you just dive these people. Unfortunately, Caitlyn recalls. I think it's because, though, you weren't here. You weren't ready for it. If you were already here and pinging them that you were kind of trying to dive this, then Caitlyn probably doesn't recall. She actually probably sticks around. But because you come late after they've already cleared the wave, she's already decided she's recalling, and you haven't pinged at all that you want to dive this, so she just recalls. So this is a little bit on you as well. I guess I wouldn't expect you to know this though. Um, you've been clearing your camps pretty well in this game though, so I'll give you that. It's just you were a little late on the first recall when in the bush level 4 to go back to your Krugs, but that was about it. So far you've been pretty good though about clearing your camps off the map. Okay, we're gonna recall. Yep, let's just do it again. Let's go clear our... So at this point though, we are level 7 with our flash. This is like a good reference to keep in mind. When you get your ultimate unlocked at level 6, it's kind of like a power spike, right? Because you're getting a really strong ability unlocked on your champion. So you do want to be looking for ganks after you hit 6 because it's just like, yeah, it's just you're really powerful. You unlock a really strong ability that lets you pull off ganks and get a really high success rate for getting kills. So once we hit level 6, man, we gotta start thinking about where we can gank. This is never gonna work. That's fine. Because Jax is just going to recall. You're just wasting your time here. So again, another time where you're kind of wasting time clearing your camps. Uh, no, we don't want to do this either. You should be clearing your Krugs and your Raptors here. This is just not really ever going to work. We skipped our Krugs. Yep. And your Caitlyn dies. Really unfortunate because you were really late to clear your camps. So like you could have done Krugs Raptors and then maybe as you're pathing to Wolves, you can kind of see what's going on bot lane and then maybe assess that situation. But yeah, I think we just need to be more efficient in our camp clearing. You're very much like still in that phase of experimenting and learning like what you can do and what you can't do. So like you keep like running top thinking that you can gank top. The reason it doesn't work, like I'll just explain it here really quickly. The reason why this never works is like, guess what? Nasus is coming out of base. He's already finished his recall. Jax has finished pushing in the wave. This is an important thing that you have to learn as a laner. And this is why I always suggest to people, if you've never laned before and you're just starting the game and your first role is jungle, you're gonna have a hard time learning jungle. Because a lot of jungling is knowing what your laners are doing. This is funny because like Coach Kire actually put a video out recently that I heard him talking about how if you think about jungle as in you're the predator and your prey is the laners, right? Yeah, obviously those are what you're hunting, right? You're trying to hunt these laners. Um, how are you supposed to hunt the laners? How are you supposed to hunt your prey when you don't even know what your prey is thinking? You know, if you don't know how your prey is thinking, then how are you supposed to be able to hunt them? Because they'll be unpredictable. You don't know how to catch them. You won't know where they're going to go and what they're going to go for. Um, so a lot of times, I honestly suggest a lot of people to play laning before they play jungle because laning fundamentals applies to jungle as well. And a lot of people don't think about that when they start the game new. They think like, oh, well, jungle is cool because I can avoid fighting a laner the entire time. So I can just kind of avoid all of that. I don't have to learn about all this laning stuff. But realistically, in reality, jungle is harder than laning in a way because you do have to know how laners interact and what laners want to do if you want to actually jungle at a pretty high level. So the reason this doesn't work is because we know about if we know how laners think and know how laners want to play their lane, after, do you see this wave here that's coming in? So he comes over here, Nasus needs to recall. Jax wants to clear this wave, right? And that's what he's going to do. He's going to clear this wave coming in right here, he's going to clear this. This would be a good time to gank. If you were right here, right now, you could kill Jax because Jax is going to stay, right? He wants to clear this wave. He needs to get this wave shoved in. He's not going to just leave these bags of gold sitting on the map and just recall. He's going to stay here. He has no flash. He has no ult. He's like, what, 15% HP? So he's definitely killable here. But as soon as that last minion dies, he is no longer gankable. He greeds because he's a silver player. He greeds for the plates. Getting one is probably fine, but he's going to greed for another one, which is really bad because he's really low and he needs to recall. But the wave has already crashed in. He got his bags of minions, so he's be recalling right now. So think in your mind, this is not gankable at all because, sure, he's going to greed for this plate, but as soon as this plate's gone, guess what? He's leaving. He's out. He already cleared his wave. It crashed. He crashed the wave in the tower, so it's going to reset. He's just going to go all the way back here, and then he's going to recall. And he's just recalling in this bush, right? He has enough mana for his leap strike though, so he's not really worried about you even coming to gank him. So you're just kind of wasting time by pulling yourself every direction you see fighting. And that is fine because it's obvious you just don't really know what you're looking for yet. So experiment, and that's fine. Look around, see what you can do. Sure. But if you really want to climb, I'm telling you the correct answer would just be to farm your camps and stop wasting time doing this stuff. Here as well. Look, the minion wave is already shoved in. Zed doesn't care about this minion wave. He's under tower. I mean, he's getting kind of bursted. He doesn't really care about cleaning this minion wave up because he could just recall and get back to lane and get it anyway. So he's just going to recall here. So there's nothing to do here. Now, the reason we want to be bot is because, oh shit. Caitlyn wants to clear this wave. There's another wave coming. So this wave is into tower. There's another wave on the enemy side that's coming, and she wants to clear that. She's not going to just leave, right? She wants to walk up and hit this wave. But Evelynn's on the prowl. And unfortunately, because you weren't clearing your camps, you were wasting time going top and mid, you're not ready for this. So that's probably good. I don't need to go too much deeper. I already gave you more than I probably should have. I said I wasn't going to do it, so fail on my part. I should have been a little bit more simplistic here, but I'm still learning also as like a coach. So all in all, I gave you a lot of information, but again, it just comes down to if you really want to climb, you just need to hit your camps more and do a lot less of the wasted time stuff where you're just kind of running around, not knowing if laners are going to stick around or not. Um, so learning how to lane is actually really, really helpful. Um, if you want to climb, I would suggest that. Honestly, I suggest taking some time to learn top lane. Learn learn top lane or bot lane, honestly, because you have a lot more wave control in top and bot. Mid lane, it's a lot harder to freeze, and the wave just kind of gets shoved back and forth a lot of times because it's a shorter lane. Um, and yeah, there is minion control and minion fundamentals in mid lane, but it's just not as relevant as like in top lane and bot lane. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. And just keep trying stuff. If you don't really know what champion you really want to main yet, then just keep trying new ones. You'll eventually find something that you're just like, this is amazing. I love this. This champion's super fun. Um, and I just want to play this all the time. And pick like one or two of those. And your main, like, you don't have to OTP a champion forever, by the way, either. Like, when you pick a champion to say like, oh, this is the champion I'm going to play, this is a good champion I'm going to main, you might main him for a few months, but it doesn't mean you can't switch it up after that. I would suggest like, at least get like 100 games on a champion before you decide to like swap it out. Like if you really love a champion, like play it for like 100, 200 games or so. And then if you really get bored after that, try something else. But definitely don't juggle more than like 1 to 2 champions at a time. It's just too overwhelming, and it's better to like get mastery on a champion, know the ins and outs of a champion before you actually start like swapping it up all the time. Yep, those are my 2 cents. Well, multiple cents, dozen cents, whatever you want to call it. Good luck in your games, my guy.